this was kind of a gross game, but also not gross. The Colts turned the ball over 4 times. Minshew threw 3 interceptions, and they couldn't really get the run game going. Why is Zach Moss getting more attempts than Jonathan Taylor? Is it a ramp up? I don't know. Kind of seems like he's been healthy, even though he's been on the pup for quite a while now. So I don't know. Maybe he's just getting back into game conditioning, game speed. But anytime you throw the ball 55 times with Gardner Minshew, I don't really think it's like a winning formula. So yeah, I don't know what they're really doing there. I mean, the Jags D stepped up. That's not bad, but like what's going on also in the Jaguars pass game? It seems like half the time they're electric and half the time they don't. They're not like cohesive. Like they got a good core, but it's just like they can't stay consistent, and that's not what we saw like at the end of last year. Like they were on a roll and no one was stopping them. So what is the difference? I know it's a lot
It
of
was like
questions, but
no, you're spot on. It's like that's where I'm getting a little bit confused with the Jags right now, bro, because the vibe, like you're saying, was so heavily like, oh no, they're guys. Like these guys they're some of those guys where they could go all the way. As of right now, you know, they're like one of those teams where you're like, they're good, but come championship, conference championship, Super Bowl, I don't see the recipe for them pulling out that game against the better team. That's just exactly where the Jaguars territory they're in right now. Because again, it stems from the inconsistency, you know, but they're not on the same level as the Bills. Because I would say even when they play at their dominant version self, it's not that same dominance you see from the Bills. Whereas the Bills also are on that same spectrum of inconsistency. Yeah, I don't know. The Jaguars are in a very weird kind of situation. I think if you could, you can't trace it back to one thing. You certainly can't. But I'll tell you what, bro. Something that hasn't been talked about enough and is going to keep being talked about more and more as the future goes on here is it's very obvious that Trayvon Walker was absolutely not the pick. And if they took Aiden Hutchinson, I do believe the situation at the moment is not even slightly, it's significantly different on defense. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that have got to be talked about with the Jaguars. There's got to be, I don't know where the things go from here because I do still think what I'm trying to say is they're still going to keep going up. But to your point, we thought it was going to be much more steady up and much quicker. It's more kind of like they're on like a weird train that kind of like goes down and then goes back up. But instead of these going up the mountain, but it's the mess. They're in a weirdly, really weird boat.
they're just super inconsistent to me, and like that was like what I was not hoping for from them this year, considering on how well they put it together at the end of last year. Um, I will say this though. Um, I mean, honestly, I think it's a surprise for everybody, us. Like, regardless if the Jags won by 17 this game, like the fact that the Colts are like staying in games and like playing competitive with mostly everybody is like really impressive, especially with Anthony Richardson possibly being out for the rest of the year. So I don't know what you do. Like, do you hope that you win more games? Like, do you want to win with this core, or with Anthony Richardson being down, does it really matter? Would you rather have a higher draft pick? What are you kind of leaning with?
I would say, oh, well, again, I think the Colts are in the same boat as a lot of these guys that with the good young quarterbacks. It's like they're gonna be ready to compete if they swing and make the right swings over these next few drafts. But again, I mean, so yeah, let's just move over to this for a second. Let's just make this the topic for a second. It's kind of like if you're the Colts, what really needs to be addressed, right? I'd say, well, number one, I think you're pretty comfortable about the D line right now. It's kind of like D line. You don't got to reach on a D lineman in the first round or first couple rounds unless you get a really really good guy. I'd say I would probably be looking right tackle, like interior. You could definitely also take another swing on another receiver, but I think I would probably keep letting the young guys grow. You could take a
Josh Downs
star
has been really
secondary
good.
guy, star corner maybe. But yeah, I think they're definitely more than a few pieces away. But like we say, we love that core of the team,
Yeah,
but they got a lot that they have to improve for sure.
yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't really have much else to say on this game. I think Jacksonville hopefully continues to put it together through the end of the year because I still think they're one of the top teams in the AFC. I mean, I think this is their division. I mean, the Texans, that's like I don't see any other team, especially without Anthony Richardson, like even competing for the division title. I don't. The Titans are just. I don't know. I I have more faith in the Titans or the Texans than the Titans.
No, yeah, like it's 100% at this point.